Everybody. So I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube about OTF, or out the front automatic knives, and I just recently bought 3 of them, so thought I'd do a video about them and kind of a review, I guess. So this one is made to look like a AKC Concord out the front, and the reason I say it's made to look like that, or made to look like it, is because I only paid $20 for it. So I'm pretty sure that it's, like a clone or a knockoff or whatever you want to call it, because I know that those are, you know, usually not that cheap. But it's double action, in and out. It's got an black aluminum handle. It's got a pretty good weight to it. It's not too heavy, but it feels reliable. The switch on this knife, I like the feel of this knife because it feels good in the hand, and the switch is very easy. You don't have to apply very much pressure at all to get it in or out. And it's got a dagger style blade. It looks like it's double edged, but it's actually only single edged. It's got a false edge over here. There is very little blade play, but there is some, and but that's to be expected with any OTF that you buy. Even the really expensive ones are gonna have a little bit of blade play to them. But for what I paid for it, this is a really great knife. This one here, this one I don't really know a lot about. I'm not too sure about it. I know this one's a clone too, because I only paid $16 for it, but it didn't come with a box. It has no branding or writing on it anywhere, on the blade, on the handle, just nothing. It doesn't say where it was made or who made it or anything like that. But it's pretty good. It's got a little bit of blade play too, but this one, the switch is actually harder to push and pull. But another thing that I noticed about this knife, one of the only downsides to it, is that it comes out pretty quick, but it goes back in a lot quicker than it comes out. So it's a lot of the power is not in the firing, it's in the retraction. And I thought that was pretty odd. Like maybe it should have been the other way around, but whatever. I only paid $16 for it, so. But like I said, I'm pretty sure that it's a clone, but as to what knife it's supposed to look like, I really have no idea, because this is the only one like this that I've seen. It's got a little blood groove on the blade. It kind of resembles a lightning OTF, but I know that can't be it, because it's kind of similar, but it just, you can tell that's just not what it was made to look like. The only real problem that I had with this knife is that you can see here, see the screw holes here on the bottom. It did have a pocket clip on it, which I ended up taking off because this screw hole right here got stripped out. And which, that's not really that big of a deal to me, because to me, when I held it in my hand, the pocket clip was just kind of awkward and kind of in the way, I guess. But other than that, I haven't had really any problems with it. This one here is this is a Cupid clone. It's now, the point that I really wanted to get across to everybody about this knife is that there are a lot of Cupid clones, that are very similar to this one. The main difference is that the other ones have they're double-edged. Well, this one's double-edged too, but the other ones are double-edged and have partial serrations on both edges of the blade, and the markings on the handle are a little different than this, and the other ones don't have this safety right here. And now the other Cupid clones with the serrations and all that, those are actually look a lot more like a real Dalton Cupid than this one does. But everybody is saying that those are, you know, like replicas of the knife that Heath Ledger used in The Dark Knight, and that's not true. This is the actual knife used by Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. And you know, like I said, a lot of people have been, you know, claiming that that other one is the one that he used, and a lot of people believe that, I guess, but that's just not the case. This is the one from the movie. Now the other ones are really good too. They have a really strong spring, really sharp. They're pretty well made. If you want a knife that looks, you know, pretty much exact to a real Dalton Cupid, then that one would be the one that you want, not this one, because those look almost identical to a real Dalton Cupid, but they're not the one from The Dark Knight. This one's single action. Oh, another difference is that, well, I mentioned the safety, but the way that works is after you fire it, to close it, you push the button, pull this thing right here down. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you pull it down, push it all the way down, and, well, you'll notice that there's a hole right there, and what you do when you close it, you push that all the way down, and you push this button in right here, and it pushes a pin into that hole, which locks it into place, and that keeps the knife from, you know, firing when you have it in your pocket or on your belt or whatever. And that was one of the main reasons why I got this one instead of the other Cupid clone, was because of the safety. You know, it just seemed more logical to me, I guess. But you know, it's still a really nice knife, and I like it. It's not really, it's really lightweight though. I mean, it almost, you know, it's like nothing almost. But I've also heard a lot of rumors that on these the handles are made out of plastic and, you know, stuff like that. That's not true either. This is actually like a lightweight aluminum. Yeah, so altogether I paid $50 for all three of these knives. Well, actually a little over $50. But to me, that was a really great deal, because none of these are, you know, name brand, or, you know, they're not Microtech or Benchmade or Dalton or, you know, AKC or, you know, anything like that. But they are a lot cheaper, and you can find something like this one here. This is pretty much identical to a real AKC Concord, but you know, it was just a lot cheaper. And to me, it's not really cheaply made at all. I haven't had any, well, aside from the pocket clip with this one, I have not had any problems with these knives at all. They never misfire or, you know, anything like that. They come in and out every time. So, you know, and I've seen, you know, the name brand knives that I've seen them range, you know, everywhere from $50 a piece all the way up to $300 a piece, and then I've seen a few like Microtechs that were a little over $1,000 a piece. And you know, I'm really into knives, but I just don't have that kind of money to, put into one knife. So, I mean, if you like knives and you like OTFs, but you're like me, you just can't afford that much money for one knife. There are a lot of knives like these that, it's the same. It's pretty much the same thing. It just doesn't have the name brand on it, and it's a lot cheaper. And $50 for these three, that was a really good deal to me, and it was. I mean, considering the fact that I could have taken that same $50 and bought one name brand knife. And like I said, they're not, to me they're not cheaply made at all. They work every time, and so far they've been pretty reliable. Um, but yeah, so if you can't afford to do that, I mean, I know there's some people that can, but most of us can't. And if you can't, there are a lot of knives like these out there that are really affordable and, you know, to me just as good. Um, I do plan on. I only have three as of right now. I have a I have a shitload of other knives, but these, as of right now, these are the only three OTFs that I have. I do plan on getting, some more. Um, I've been looking at the Tomb Raiders and the NATOs and um, stuff like that. So whenever I decide, whenever the impulse hits again to just go out and blow money on stupid shit that I don't need, I'll have those and probably do a video on those too.